Hey there, folks. I'm Meteorologist Matt Barrentine in the Fox 10 News Now Weather Center. Getting things going here today. Obviously, taking a look at the skyline. I always like to start there from the USS Alabama. And look how blue those skies are. It is a blue sky type of day. And boy, as you know, at this time of year, when you get skies that blue, skies that clear, it is going to heat on up. It is going to be a hot one here across the Gulf Coast today. So be ready for that. It is certainly going to be toasty. All right, let me go ahead and cut on over. Looks like I've got everything set up. All right, hey folks, I'm Meteorologist Matt Meteorologist Matt Barrentine, and we are looking at a blue sky type of day. I mean, there's the radar. It is clear out there this morning. I'll put up the big picture, and we have high pressure in the Gulf. And the reason why things are clear this morning is because we have a northerly to northwest flow here across here. You can see those arrows coming in out of the northwest here this morning. Let me clear that off. And see all these arrows are going northwest here across our area. So what that's doing is it's driving in some drier air, especially in the mid levels of the atmosphere and the upper levels of the atmosphere. We're seeing some drier air conditions, and that is going to limit the rain out there today. It limits the clouds. So you crank down the rain percentage, you crank down the rain chance, you crank down the number of clouds, and what happens? Crank up the heat. It's going to be hot, well up into the 90s out there for us today. Let me go ahead and show you the FUTURECAST real quick, and you'll see this is noontime. And keep going through the day. I mean, it's almost perfectly clear. Now, it's still August. In August, you know, some months, obviously a lot of months of the year, I could put up a 0% rain chance because we just look at the conditions, we can tell there's not likely to be any rain. In August, even on a day like today where it looks like there's almost no chance of rain, you still could have a quick stray shower, especially across our entire viewing area. Almost invariably one will pop up, one little tiny shower. So I'm going to leave a 10% rain chance in there for a stray shower, but obviously most likely you will not see any rain out there today. Just something to be aware of. All right, so the afternoon, look at that. Mid-90s, so it is going to be really, really toasty here across the area here today. Heat index values, they're not going to be great. 103, 104. I mean, it's August. I mean, this isn't unusual for this time of year. I mean, it's not comfortable, but it's not unusual, and it's not up in an advisory level. To get a heat index, or to get a heat advisory, you have to get heat index values around, I think it's 108 is the threshold. So we're not there, but it's uncomfortable, and that's what we're dealing with today, and it'll continue to be like that for the upcoming days. All right, so this is what I'm going to spend most of my time on here today is what's happening in the tropics. So hopefully if you join, this might be probably the reason you join. There's a lot going on in the tropics. There's a lot simmering in the tropics, but there's no forest fires out there, so to speak, at the moment. So first off, Josephine. Winds of 40 miles an hour, very minimal tropical storm. This thing is not long for this world. It's running into some very strong upper level wind shear. And upper level wind shear, it knocks the, let me put it this way. A tropical system isn't a two-dimensional thing you see on a map. It's got a vertical, it's vertical as well. It climbs up into the atmosphere, 40, 50,000 feet up. And what happens, you have strong winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Think of these as the structure of the storm. It knocks it over. And that doesn't lead to good circulation. So when they're dealing with strong upper level winds, they can't really do much. And that's what this one's going to happen. And it's actually going to weaken, fall apart, head up towards Bermuda. Not going to be a big deal. That is Josephine. It is going to be done very, very soon. Kyle, see how there's an L there? Watch, it goes, this little bloop. There's the tropical storm symbol. Now it shows an L. What that means is that it's gone from being a tropical system, a tropical storm, to just a non-tropical low. So it doesn't have tropical structure anymore. And that's because it's moving over colder water. So we're not going to see many more updates on this one either from the National Hurricane Center. So no worries about that. So we have those two name systems that aren't going to do anything. But then we have two more systems that bear watching, two more tropical waves. We got one here off the coast of Africa. We got one out here kind of closer to South America. Now, they both have about a 30% chance in 5 days, which is still on the low side. This one is way out, so let's not think about that one too much at this point. I mean, because it's going to take 5 days to even get to the middle of the Atlantic, so that one's way on out there. This one eventually will move into the Caribbean, by the middle of next week. So when it does, it could find a window of opportunity out there. Let me go ahead and put up window of opportunity out here somewhere in the Caribbean. Right now, the models aren't very, they're not very, not showing a whole lot happening with either of these systems. But right now, they're very small systems. And sometimes what happens is these models, these are big global models, and they have a resolution issue. Think about it as like pixels. When you remember your first camera phone, those pixels on there. Well, think of that like with a model. Some of them have very big pixels. When you have a global model like this, the pixels are fairly big, and so it doesn't have a whole lot of resolution, and they can miss small ones that try to spin up. So we'll see. But the good news side of that is if they're missing it being small, it may not get large either. So we may be looking at another weak system like what we're seeing here recently with these Josephines and these Kyles. Just something to keep an eye on. We do know that conditions will improve towards the end of this month. And once that happens and more of these waves keep rolling off of Africa, things will really start to fire up quickly. I know it seems like, well, we've had Josephine, Kyle, and these weak storms. In fact, of the 11 storms that we've had so far, only 2 have become hurricanes, Hannah and Isaias. But that, so we've had a lot of numbers so far. We haven't had very many big storms. But that changes. And this is nothing unusual. It changes after about August 20th. So we always get some early season tropical storms, some early season weak hurricanes. But this year, the big difference, or the normal thing that happens is the bigger ones will come later in the year. The big difference, like I was saying with this year, too, is just the sheer numbers. We've had 11 named storms. We are outpacing 2005. We hit 28 storms. The bulk of our storms happen in that frenetic period of September. We can get one storm after another after another. I would not be surprised this year the way things are going if we're going to have at least 2 named storms on the board all through most of September. We could have at times 3 named storms at times, maybe even 4. It's a real possibility. So be ready, buckle up. It's going to be busy once we hit the end of August going into September, maybe even into parts of October as well, as we hit the height of hurricane season. So make sure you're prepared and you are ready. All right, so let's keep looking at the forecast here. So today, once again, rain chances only 10%. Have a few showers around Monday and Tuesday, but it stays quite hot in the mid-90s. And then you can see towards the end of the week, rain chances go up and temperatures go down. It looks like we're going to have some unsettled weather. I'm going to go ahead and get the 10-day forecast up, and I'm going to cut to it so you don't have to look at my mug as we look at it. There it is. You can see what's going to happen for the next 10 days. So rain chances increase towards late next week. And it looks like it'll be pretty unsettled at late next week going on into the weekend. That has nothing to do with anything tropical per se, at least nothing organized tropically. I mean, obviously it's Gulf moisture working its way in. But it looks like we'll have some numerous showers. So you may have to do some watering next couple of days. But after that, things should turn back around. You notice the high temperatures too. I mean, I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I'd rather have a 70% chance of rain and a high of 88 in August than what we're going to be experiencing today. I'll take the rain to help cool us off, and that's what's going to happen. All right, so that's how it looks for the next 10 days. Really nothing all that unusual for a late August forecast. But obviously we're keeping an eye on things in the tropics. It's active. It's sort of at a low simmer, a low boil right now. We know things will boil over, though, in the next few weeks, so just keep your eye on it. We'll keep you informed. For everybody that joined here on Facebook, I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. I hope you have yourselves a good Sunday. We will catch up with you soon. Have a good one.